Good evening, Zelda fans. Welcome to Week 3 of ALTTPR League. We're in the Open League. This is two teams from the Turtle Rock Division playing a casual boot seed. You got a standard defeat Ganon, and you start with boots. We got Dark Side of the Triforce coming in, represented by IB Karma, and the Grouchy Old Men, represented by Vertz. Both the top two teams in this division in Open League so far. My name's Lumaga. I'll be one of your commentators, and with me tonight is Jawsome Sauce. Jaws, how you doing?
Hey, Lumaga. I'm doing great. I'm so excited for this. Casual boots is my favorite, so this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, casual boots, adds a little bit more of an element than just a normal standard. Of course, you have boots, so you can go fast, but it opens up, a couple more early interesting choices.
Yeah, you get like the bonk rocks involved. You get, obviously with the sword, you get access to a lot of new places, and dark rooms become a little easier. Looks like here we're going.
Uncle with some foreboding questions here. Why did that bottle have a skull on it?
Quick. And since we have a sword, you get to use that right away if you want to.
So these two will have to go through the castle escape sequence, grab the items from Uncle, and hopefully find some bombs so that they can get the treasures in the back of the escape right away. We did see a very quick map check, but Jaws, did you see what we got?
No, that was really fast. I'll add too that it's nice that they have the boots. Hook shot right off the bat there. That's gonna be awesome. But because they have the boots, they can dash right into the wall in the back too. So bombs aren't too important, but they're gonna be important when they move on to the overall checks.
Excellent point.
That hook shot's gonna be pretty great to have early.
So the escape sequence really is all about clean movement. There's not any variance in routing. You got to fight the same few enemies. So as long as you're not, bonking with these boots and not, taking an extra swing where you shouldn't, you should be able to get through this in probably about 6 minutes or less.
Yeah, that's one nice thing about the casual boots format is the opening's virtually all the same, except for the different kind of items you might get on your way. So we see some nice sword strats there from Vertz, being able to take out the blue guard in one shot there. The circle. See, IB Karma gets it too.
And some money to start us off. We did get the 300 off of Uncle. We're 50 now, closer to Zora money. So you're going to need some of it for Village of Aka. I'm sorry, not Village, but Kakariko and Village as well, I guess. There's 50 more. So that was 2 items. And what did we get in the boomerang chest in the front?
Piece of heart was there's 2 pieces of heart so far.
So then we know Dark Cross has to be a key for us to get back there. And then in back of escape, we'll have 2 items and a map or sanctuary as well.
What's really fun about watching these races, and I hope you all who are watching see this, you get 2 different versions of the run here. You see Vertz going over to the right away, and you saw IB Karma going south. Lots of different variations you can take to get through the escape.
I think my favorite variation that you don't see very often is when you leave the basement and somebody goes right instead of left. It's a room you rarely see in Randomizer. All right, both heading back towards the sewers into the throne room.
Vertz looking for some bombs there.
Yeah, that's the prize pack for bombs, so Vert's definitely taking advantage of those ropes. May save him some money as he gets into Kakariko, doesn't have to buy any bombs. So these two are synced up right through the back of Escape. We get the map, we get our second medallion, Bombos, and some bombs. Both exiting here through the north exit. Quite a sync.
And both taking advantage of that early hook shot to take care of some of these rats that are in the way.
Now, as we leave Sanctuary, we're going to find one item, but we are going to have to pay attention to IB Karma. Has not checked his map. Vertz did, and we didn't quite get to see it.
It looks like we might have to wait a little longer for that map check.
That's okay. We'll figure it out eventually. And as we talked about, the interesting dynamic or the interesting approach to this is you can do bonk rocks right away. Doesn't lead to anything here, but we did not know. And I suppose with early boots and a sword, you should check out Lumberjack here, as both runners are doing, because Aga could very well be in play and lead to something progressive early, but not today. I think that was 10 arrows.
Yeah, just some sticks. And it sounds like what we have in the map here is a crystal for Easter Palace and Hera, and a pendant for Desert Palace.
Very good. Our V-streamer letting us know, and our tracker, Professor Pixie, helping us out there visually. Thank you.
And after all that money, we get one more dollar. One more rupee. But they're going to need that. Like you said, the bottle vendor costs 100 rupees. You know, we might have some flipper checks later in the game that cost 500 rupees for Zora. And of course, to get into Palace of Darkness, it's going to cost 110 rupees because you got to pay that monkey.
Yeah, some of these expenses are unavoidable.
Now here's some of the funnest parts of the game is when you get to make all these great checks and Kakarikos. Let's see what we get here. Piece of heart, we got the Arrow of Destiny, a full heart container, and another full heart container. So some safety, some health at the beginning of the game here for our runners.
And knowing at least Vertz, I'm not too familiar with IB Karma, but those two heart pieces, could lead a more aggressive runner to make some bold moves, right? You're not on 3 hearts, you're on 5, so it's okay to make some of those moves early on. Our second set of high-density items in the well. Start off with a heart piece. And a hammer. That's a good one.
I think we're running out of heart pieces in this game already, I'd say.
You say that now. Just you wait. I'm sure we'll be sick of them by the time we're done. But yes, there were, 3 heart pieces in there?
Yeah, so we might be up to 8 or so by now, I think. My count's correct. It might not be. Money and hearts, that's what we're playing today, it looks like.
Well, we got the boots. So library is accessible to us. We've got... a hammer doesn't really open up much for us. You're probably going to see something like South Shore, depending on what we see at the end of Kakariko here.
And of course, another piece of heart, because why not?
Now, Vert's doing kind of what I would do with the boots here. Go check out the item here at the race game before committing to it, but gonna do it anyway. That's the fire rod all the way at the end.
Now, statistically, in an open mode or a regular mode like this, checking it first is usually can be the better statistical play, but sometimes you just have a gut feeling and you want to go check it out anyway.
I see a lot of players, do this move depending on what the layout in Kakariko is. We found a medallion and a hammer and a bunch of heart pieces. So it would have been very justifiable just to go straight for it, not having found a whole lot and hope you get something, but it worked out either way.
And certainly, since both runners did it, there was no lost time for either of them.
All right, as predicted, we get a South Shore check. Vertz making use of the hookshot clip to get through there and not have to re-enter the dam after draining it. Karma successfully pulling it off too. And you find a mirror as they were sunken treasure today. So that actually, well, it doesn't help us just yet, but it's a great key item.
And we see Karma making use of the hook speed glitch there, technique to get a little extra boost of speed there.
Anything you can do to save a little bit of time here and there is going to add up. Probably attributes some of that to, being 4-0 in the league, just being able to outmaneuver their opponents a little bit. You got a bow in the back of Mini Moldorm Cave, so there's your entrance to Eastern.
As well as, of course, another heart piece in a heart container.
Well, naturally. I mean, why would I, state the obvious here? That's the seed we're playing, right?
I know everybody loves watching races for the big key game at the end of the Ganon's Tower, but maybe we should be playing the how many hearts will these runners have at the end of the game.
Yeah, already up to, I believe that's 9. So, they are kind of loaded for bear here. They still don't have access to really anywhere other than, say, Sahasrara and Eastern, though. Speaking of which, we'll take a trip to the old man, see what he's hiding today. As Karma, taking a bit of a detour, he's water walking, looks like a hobo check, and not quite enough money for Zora, but at least doing some of these water checks.
And we get the Moon Pearl from Saha's Closet today, so we're one item away from the dark world access with a glove.
So Hobo just showing his appreciation today for coming to visit, but nothing else. So 3 items here. Armos is actually in logic because we have the fire rod. But without much more, well, and as soon as I say without much more progression, we're not sure where to go. Here's the power glove. So that's your Dark World access right away.
So we go from a rather empty Kakariko to fast progression and opening up the world here.
Yeah, so that opens up the portal north of Kakariko, opens up the portal near Hype Cave. Couple of options to go. You could either go for density in Hype Cave, or you could go for kind of breadth and see what's available in Village of Outcast by going north. In the meantime, we were focused on Eastern Palace. We did find Power Glove, and think that was, what was that in the map chest?
I believe it was it a red rupee? I have to check that one again.
Could be. Did find the big key, so we're still short 1 item. Oh, there you go.
I mean, if you guess rupees or hearts, you'd probably be correct. That fire rod really helping in the back here. That room can really be a pain without any sort of light source.
Yeah, the popos will sometimes play a bit of a nuisance role, but when you can see them, the room is pretty trivial. Quick restock before he gets into the boss fight. Alright, set up for that quick kill. A little bit aggressive on that second Armos, but did get them down pretty quickly. First crystal at 17 minutes, 5 seconds for Vertz.
That's the quick enough strat that he used there.
Indeed.
So now it'll be interesting to see where Vertz is going to head next. I'd imagine some sort of Dark World action is coming, but which way?
He looks like he's betting on Hype Cave, so either getting the disappointment out of the way or hoping for a huge cache of treasures in there.
And this seems good too because he has the mirror, so he'll be able to do Cave 45 along the route to Stumpy and Dig Game, and be able to clear out the South Hyrule, or Dark World, I mean.
We've got 2 pendants, Turtle Rock and Swamp. Turtle Rocks are green. Pod and Skull Woods, those were your 5, 6. So it's not a bad layout here, crystal pendant wise.
Yeah, and he's got the bonus there where Pod is ready to go as long as he's okay with an out-of-logic Dark Room.
Well, there's a few more hearts and our 3rd medallion, so we're not searching for a Mire entrance today. Well, wasting no time, headed to Eastern Dark World. Couple of options he has here. Looks like a pyramid check first, but Pod is of course fully clearable. He could combo in Catfish and Zora with that mirror. So a couple of options here, and Karma taking the same route towards Hype Cave. Let's see how these two kind of like follow each other a bit.
And just 20 rupees on Pyramid there.
And now that I think about it, the pod play is probably a little bit smarter, just because he had just over 500 rupees to begin with. 520. Would have spent 500 alone on Zora and not been able to get back into pod. Maybe even short on Kiki money. So good move here to go to pod first.
Yes, we've got 5 items here in pod that totally accessible, since we're pretty sure Vertz can handle the Dark Maze if he needs to, as well as the Dark Rupee Room in the basement.
There is the Dark Turtle Room, which can give people a bit of trouble, but with the Fire Rod and 2 torches to light there, it may not present as much of a challenge. If you don't have the lantern or the Fire Rod, that Turtle Room can be pretty nasty if you're not really stacked for it health and sword wise.
And Vertz is opting to check the big key chest, see what we can get there. Just a small key.
And with 2 keys found, seems like the right move. There's now our 4th key in the front, so we could have 1, maybe 2, maybe even 0 dungeon items here. There's guaranteed to be 4 in the front of pod, and then beyond that, the logic gets a little bit funny.
And Karma makes his way into pod.
Okay, well, there's our first item. It's Canis Samaria. Gonna need that one for Misery Mire, of course. Turtle Rock, not yet off the table, but definitely a necessary item. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Vertz was trying to do the stair clip here with the Canis Samaria block. Do a quick down and dash up, but these beetles are getting in his way. Pulls it off just as Karma about to pull his Canis Samaria out of this box. There it is.
And as you mentioned, only having about 500 rupees when he came into pod, Vertz has picked up a lot of rupees here in the Rupee Room. He'll surely be able to pay Zora now for whatever scam item we get this time. Hopefully it's good, but usually it's not.
Yeah, and then with the options we actually have, I wouldn't be surprised to see both of these runners skip Catfish Zora for a little while. They've got, Skull Woods with the Fire Rod and a sword. They've got Thieves Town, of course. They've got all of the Village of Outcasts. that may be a little bit more enticing to them than, some fish.
Now Vertz is wandering around in the dark here in the dark maze. I love when the items just randomly pop up on the screen for us. Both dungeon items here in the maze.
Yep, and we did get the big key down in the dark basement, the rupee basement. There's some bombs in the big chest. All that's left to do is Helmasaur.
Yep, and I believe there will be an item on Helmasaur, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And that Cane of Samaria pickup is excellent here in Pod because you can put it to use right away on the statue tile here without having to pull the statue around. So that'll save some time for everyone.
So Karma gets a key out of the Hellway. We knew that had to be a key just from Vertz's layout. Now this is where, I mentioned it could get a little bit hairy if you didn't have the fire rod. Of course, if you don't have the lantern, it's you got to figure out where these turtles are. But 2 torches make it a little bit easier for you.
So we've got a bunch of dark rooms happening right now as Karma comes out to collect his bombs. One thing that's really nice that they have the mirror is they don't have to take a death warp and try to take the time to get killed there to reset. They can just mirror back to the beginning.
So just having a fighter sword for Helmasaur could take a long time if you use that strat, but Vertz hit him with the hammer, and that'll do temper sword damage. Only 4 strikes of that to take him down. Gets his second crystal, first red crystal of the game. Karma also using those Samaria strats to get through the room quickly. All those little time saves will certainly add up, as I mentioned. So as long as you can remember them, execute them, certainly save a couple of minutes off your time over the course of a run.
And while Karma heads towards Helmasaur, we've got Vertz. Looks like might make a play towards the Village of Outcasts. Let's see where he goes, coming out of Sanctuary here.
Well, this is a Skull Woods play, heading up through the Lost Woods. Oh, actually, this is the only way he can get to the Dark World. Scratch that. He may not do Skull Woods first.
Although Skull Woods is clearable now because they have a sword and they have the fire rod, and they have plenty of hearts to take on Moth. So we'll see if Vertz chooses to go north or south into the village.
Yeah, it's really a judgment call. If you feel you have enough either safeties, health, or armor, or firepower swords to take on Mothula this early, Fighter Sword really may put you off from it, but the health may cancel that out.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, but since Skullwoods and Pod are both the red crystals, was Helmosaur out of logic or because of the last room?
Actually, indeed. So, in this version V31, several dark rooms are in logic. You saw the pod basement, where the rupees were. That is in logic. There is the escape sequence, Dark Cross. That is in logic because it has torches. There's one more room that escapes me right now, but I know it is not the path to Helmosaur, since not every room has a torch. So that is out of logic. If Vertz recognizes that, he may or may not want to take a look at the Pyramid Fairy turning these red crystals he's about to get until he sees a lamp.
And Karma cleans up Helmosaur, so we'll take a look at where he's going to go next. I'd imagine probably the same place, since there's lots of things to do over here on the west side of the Dark World.
Yeah, with what they have, it's really everything but Smith Chain. Don't have the Titan Smith for that, but they do have Mirror. They could check Cave 45. Of course, do Village of Outcasts, Stumpy. But yeah, I think that's really the only thing that they have, unless they wanted to chance on Zora. Now that it's actually in logic with that Power Glove.
And if a runner wanted to be really risky and just to press their luck, the Light World mountain checks are accessible. They'll just be out of logic because of a lamp or flute.
Yeah, and they could get all of them actually. Go through Hera, go through Paradox. But you're right, out of logic, because you need that lamp or the flute to get to the top of the mountain.
So Karma's making the play into Village of Outcast. He's got a couple checks he can do before going into Thieves Town. Looks like he's going to make the round.
Just a quick cleanup of Village of Outcast before he goes into Thieves Town. Finds the flute, so easy decision to mirror here, activate the flute either before or after you're done with Thieves Town.
It's just great when the seed hands you an item you need right there where you can activate it.
I think you're looking for this. Here, you should have this flute.
So there's that small key for Thieves Town, which may make the big chest part of the play here, but we'll have to see how many items we get to before we get to that part. And Karma does have the hammer, so he'll have no problem getting to that chest if necessary.
So here's an interesting choice being made. So Karma went into Thieves Town, fully clearable, got his flute from Village of Outcasts. Vertz did Skull Woods and is doing the North Dark World checks. Nothing on Bumper Ledge, but with that mirror, he's got both K45 and the King's Tomb that he can check out. I'm sorry, not K45, Graveyard Ledge. And an impressive God Pixel from IB Karma, shooting straight down the hellway of Thieves Town.
And yet another piece of heart On the graveyard ledge for Vertz. I'm going to go with 15 hearts is going to be my guess for the seed.
If you were doing that, right, I'll probably say 17. We've seen quite a bit of these hearts in heart containers and heart pieces. But certainly 12 hearts, 34 minutes in, Green Mail Fighter Sword. You got to be feeling pretty comfortable that you can take on most anything. You might be timid about something like a Cold Stare, but with 12 hearts, you could still dodge and still make a good showing on it.
And while Karma makes his way to the basement of Thieves Town, we've got Vertz picking up his flute and continuing to make the checks in Village of Outcasts. Not only do you have the boots, obviously, in Casual Boot Seed, but having the hookshot in Thieves Town really makes a difference in the speed and your agility to get through that dungeon. Just being able to link from statue to statue, get a little across the way a little faster, it's definitely helping the runners get through here, like Karma's showing.
Yeah, a lot of straight hallways, a lot of room to run or things to grapple onto. So, if you come in here with one or both of those items and your opponent does not, right, you could walk out with a big advantage. All right, just one more room before this maiden turns into a nasty monster with bad jokes. See what I mean?
One commentator's bad jokes is another commentator's amazing puns. And for any of the folks out there who are fairly new to the randomizer, there is kind of a script to Blinds Fight that you can learn. The first two phases are pretty easy to follow with a little bit of practice. The third gets a little bit hairy, but a little bit more practice, you can catch on pretty quickly.
And he showed the first two phases. Third, he recovered nicely, got his third crystal. We're tied up at 3 here in this race.
Sorry. The big question is, will he activate his flute? Because he did not do that before he went into Thieves Town. And he seems to be running away now. So we'll have to see if Karma's going to make a backtrack to be able to activate that flute.
You could probably justify it as an efficiency play, because you got to mirror. It's going to take time to mirror, activate, and mirror back just to go to Skull Woods. At that point, just go to Skull Woods, because you're not planning on really making use of that flute. I guess you could go to Death Mountain, but Skull Woods is right there, and then you never have to worry about it again.
That's a really good point. Also, he'll have to come back down south if he wants to clear Stump AK-45 dig game as well.
All right, while these two runners are covering each other's tracks, finishing the dungeon the other one just previously finished, be sure to give both IB Karma and Vertz a follow. They're doing a good job for themselves and for their team. This is League, so this is a team effort here. We're in week 3, Casual Boots, right? Plenty of action left to come. Be sure to check the schedule. We'll be talking about that near the end of the episode, I'm sure. Be sure to give our tracker a follow too, Professor Pixie, doing a great job keeping us on track and keeping us honest. Our restreamer, Math Girl, doing a great job putting on a lot of these streams for the Open League. And of course, Jawsome Sauce, who is my co-commentator. Be sure to give him a follow. Does a lot of randomizer and a few other variety games. All right, we see the fire rod out for Karma. Trying to keep Mothula clear from those spikes. Running a little bit out of magic. Could switch to the hammer. Could just strike with the fighter sword here. Has to be really careful here.
Oh, and takes a fall on Mothula. That's all right. Get back into there and take care of it later. As you said, Lumaga, even if you have a lot of hearts, that you're still no bottles, regular magic, green mail. Like some of these bosses can be really tough.
That's true. We found no safeties yet, so and those spikes, doesn't matter the armor, they're going to do 1 health of damage regardless. We get the mountain play from Vertz. He is the first one up there using his flute and going to rescue this lost old man who can't find his way out of the dark. Again, out of logic, and until we actually find a lamp, this crystal here from Helbasaur that he has will also be out of logic.
And some of you may be thinking, well, if it's out of logic, why would you do it? Remember that the old man, when you save him, gives you that save point, that start point, which even with the flute and the boots, at the end of the game, when you're trying to get up to Ganon's Tower quickly or Turtle Rock or something on the mountain, you're going to want to have that quick save and quit from the Dark World, for example. So it's still worth doing that, even if it's not in logic.
And you got a safety out of it, so powder will be nice. You could use that for some anti-fairies to turn them into fairies. You could take care of the dead rocks, turn them into these blob monsters.
We've got Titan's Mitts on top of Spectacle Rock. It's going to be a big pickup.
Actually, that's a huge pickup and a huge place for these because we've got full access to really everything in Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain and the front of Turtle Rock all the way to Trinex with this.
And of course, with the Titan's Mitts, we've also got access now to Mire area. Desert Palace is now open, as well as many other checks like the Smith Chain. I mean, the whole world is kind of opened up now with those Titan Mitts.
All right.
Yep.
You go ahead.
Just saying, we've got Karma going to make the Graveyard Ledge check, and probably King's Tomb as well. We'll see if he tries to go over to Catfish and maybe even Zora. See if they'll make that play or not.
Oh, no. So, Vertz successfully pulled off the first part of Harapot, where you line up, clip into the pot. The next step is making sure you don't soft lock. If you just go straight up into the pot, you will soft lock, and you have to save and quit. You can't even mirror. You actually have to either go left and up or up, right, and up as you enter the hole. So that prevents soft lock. Don't know the mechanics of it. I just know it's something that can happen.
And another key issue with Harapot is you got to make sure that when you kill the mini mold arm here on the main floor, that you don't pick up the item it drops until it fully comes to rest, because somehow when it's a bouncing item and you pick it up, it's going to prevent you from making that pot transition too.
So here's the flute activation from Karma, done with its checks on the North Dark World to save Mothula, but he can always come back for that one.
And as we said before about the logical aspects of Pyramid Fairies right now, until we see where the lamp is, we're not really sure how much value Pyramid Fairies is going to be. So it might not hurt too much to not have Moth down yet.
And if I'm not mistaken, just looking at the layout here, your pendants, Desert Palace, Swamp Palace, and TR, with what's remaining, is Pedestal dead? Because obviously Ice Rod can't be there, Flippers can't be there. And I think those are the two we need for Go Mode. Although Flippers may or may not be optional here.
The Flippers will be required to get into Ice Palace, so we will need those.
I mean, quote unquote required. You can fake Flipper into there, so if you don't find them and it's your Go Mode item, you could always fake Flipper into that. But if you had to go into Swamp, you would definitely need them. Now, Karma did South Dark World too, right? The Dig game and Stumpy and K45 did walk out with a Master Sword from Stumpy, so that'll help him not only in some of these dungeons. Will help him on Mothula. He's going to be headed into the Dark World, Dark Death Mountain soon enough, and you never know. One of these runners may dip Turtle Rock just because it's there. You can get fairly far into it. That'd be a huge gamble, and I'd love to see it work out for one of these runners.
And Vertz is about to drop into Paradox Cave, which tends to have a lot of good stuff. I mean, we've got a lot of items so far in the seed, but plenty to go. So we'll see if Paradox is going to pay off. It's got to be much better than Hype Cave, we'd hope.
You didn't like those heart pieces and rupees?
Well, now that we're getting close to that 15 heart guess that I made, I don't know anymore. Maybe a few fewer hearts would be good. Oh, there's some right there.
It's comical at this point.
And it's all rupees and hearts for Paradox Cave today. We see a nice bomb jump from Vertz there. If you wiggle a little bit just to the edge to where you see Link or your sprite, just take a little like a resistance there, then you know that's the proper place to put the bomb and you make it safely across. Karma, I think, is going to show us the hook speed version, really fancy version of the hair pot. And success.
It's one version that I just can't wrap my head around doing smoothly, but a lot of runners, Karma here even did it much smoother than I have ever done. They can do it pretty well. A couple of different setups to the hair pot, and we've seen two of them today. So help me out here. Jaws. We've got Vertz going through Dark Death Mountain, finished out with Hookshot Cave, and on his way to probably Spike Cave at this point. Where do you go from here? Oh, not doing Spike Cave.
I think yeah, what Vertz is doing right there, I think, is the play. I mean, I think we're in a virtual go mode, right? Because if you can fake flipper to Ice Palace, you could do Misery Mire just lampless, and that's it, right? So I think we're in like a virtual, a glitch based go mode potentially.
Yeah,
Vertz needs to pick up a Master Sword still, but
sure. And if he comes across Stumpy, he will pick that up. But you are correct. Vertz may be comfortable with what he has. Sans a Master Sword here. Yeah, I mean, Meyer's here. Let's see if he goes right into it. Desert as well.
And on the flip side, Karma, who already has the Master Sword, maybe they're feeling the same thing to see. But they're going to try to. It looks like he's going to open up Turtle Rock, the portal, to make it easier to access everything here in the Dark Death Mountain. And as chat points out, the thing with Misery Mire with only the fighter sword for Vertz, that Vidi fight's going to be a little tough, even with the Master Sword on Karma's side, without any safeties and no bottles, no invincibility items. It's going to be tough.
Let's work backwards. Was Flute our go mode item, our pseudo go mode item, so to speak?
Flute put the Titan's Mitt in logic.
Okay, Titan's Mitt. That's right. Titan's Mitt was our pseudo go mode item here.
So from a viewer standpoint, standing here watching, I would love to just see him charge everything to the end here with this low percent, high hearts, no safeties, everything. From a runner's perspective, I wonder where are you going to find a sword? Like, do you need silvers? Do you need a tempered even? I wonder what they're feeling right now.
Well, Karma's got to be feeling slight bit better than Vertz, having a sword upgrade. Vertz is headed into Vitreous, and Master Sword Vitreous is very challenging. Right? He's either going to have to soften those eyeballs up with bombs and arrows, or be really fancy with the hammer. Fighter Sword Vitreous is pretty bad.
And of course, one thing to consider is, we're sitting here watching the race and saying, oh, it's a virtual go mode. Maybe the runners aren't thinking about using a fake flipper. I imagine they are at the level they're at, but you never know when you're in the heat of the race what you're thinking and what you're planning. And we'll be able to see that mindset with Vertz, I think. If he finds the big key early here in Misery Mire and continues the search, that'll tell us something, or if he rushes to Vitreous, depending on when the big key shows up.
Well, he's only got 2 items here in Misery Mire. Kind of a low percent chance if you're just searching for one thing and it's a sword. Maybe silvers, I guess, but needs that sword. And then he's got Ice Palace, which he can fake flipper into. That's only got 3. You might see him make a few more checks and be a bit more thorough before he really goes into true go mode.
Do we know what's on the ledge in the desert? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was the bug net.
Oh, the perfect item to have with no bottles, right?
Let's do a quick welcome to everybody from ALTTPR League 2 joining us. Thanks for sticking around, watching some more Zelda Link to the Past Randomizer League with us tonight.
So Karma making that fake flipper attempt we were just talking about right into Ice Palace.
Yeah, and with the Master Sword, he can actually do some okay damage here on Cold Stare, getting down there. Could also soften him up with Vamos and the Fire Rod, and if you wanted to pull out Hammer, I think he'll have an easier time with the Ice Palace boss than Vertz may with Meyer boss.
And on the right side of the screen, I think Vertz unfortunately took a fall. I believe in the bomb slug room on the way to the, or was it the Wizrobes? He's back at it. Gonna head
he's
north
back at it. I didn't see exactly where.
Well, there's that Flippers.
The ever so useful Flippers.
And we can see Karma attempting, likely successfully, the Icebreaker glitch or technique here, using the Cane of Samaria. Saves a lot of time, you skip a big chunk of the dungeon, and you don't have to do the dreaded Ice Palace bomb jump. And there we go, successfully clipping through the wall.
It's a very cool tech. And like, as you said, a big time saver.
It also makes routing the dungeon a lot easier and simpler too, which is great, especially when you're in go mode. And for those who are watching, if you're, again, new to Rando and you're trying to learn, these glitches, you can practice, you can learn them. No matter how new you are at the game, you could be doing this cool stuff too, just with a little bit of practice, watching some of these runners play, and you'll catch on pretty quick too.
Yeah, it looks like Karma is in full-on go mode. Unless the items are right in front of him, he's probably not going to bother. Probably going to go straight to Cold Stare after this, not check Ice Tea room.
So I'd just like to point out that Karma is at 15 hearts right now, so let's hope that's the end of the hearts for the seed here, so I can get my pick there.
You get your bragging rights for guessing the hearts at the end of the game, I guess.
It's almost as good as the Ganon's Tower Big Key. Almost.
Almost. You get internet points for those. All right. This is actually a tough fight here for Karma. He's on green mail. Cold Stare is one of the hardest hitting bosses, and he's only got the Master Sword low on magic. Takes him down, keeps his distance, and swings. Picks up silvers as a prize. Oh, and also a crystal. That is his 5th crystal.
So that means in the natural progression order that both racers will have their silver arrows for the Ganon fight today.
Yes, now it's just a matter of who's comfortable, with Master Sword and who's going to be more thorough. Are either of these, going to search for maybe an armor, maybe one bottle. But at this point, I think you just take whatever you get. Go to the bosses, and if you come across something, it's a bonus.
Yeah, there's chat's asking. Both runners are in a virtual go mode. Vertz is in more of an actual go mode with the flippers, but a fake flipper to Ice Palace like Karma did puts them in go mode. Vertz does need to pick up a Master Sword, but we know there's, I believe on Stumpy, this is the Master Sword. We haven't seen anything else yet so far, though. And just to point out, Vertz successfully made it through some of the harder dark rooms in the game to be able to get through the different crystal rooms and make it through to Vitreous here.
All right, from one hard boss to the next. There's Vitreous on Fighter Sword. No safeties, no fairies, no refills.
And Karma's going to have quite an easier time facing Vitreous because he has silver arrows. So he'll be able to just wipe out the eyes with some silver arrow shots. Have like a mini archery game for a boss, while Vertz is taking the old style route here, I think. It's the amazing part of Rando is you never know what state you're going to be in when you have to take on certain bosses. And it could be different than what your opponent's doing, for good or for bad.
All right, Vertz with the last eyeball down, just the big one to go, and just enough arrows to finish it out. You need 8 regular arrows, and he had 8 left in his quiver. Picks up his 5th crystal as well.
Yeah, tremendous fight there. That was awesome to watch.
Correction, that's his 6th crystal. He just has Ice Palace to go.
And it's important to point out that Karma did take a fall on Mothula, so before he can make the climb after Misermire here to Ganon's Tower, he's going to have to go back to Skull Woods to take one more shot at Mothula. Looks like Vertz is going to go check the hobo, which I believe was just some rupees from earlier in the game. Oh, piece of heart. That's right, piece of heart. Everything's a piece of heart in this seed. So Vertz is going to reset for Fake Flippers to be able to go into Ice Palace, make it a little easier from down there. As Karma makes his way to the cutscene chest, the vanilla big key chest here, which I believe is a map. And we get another heart container and mushroom on the waterfall fairies. Vertz looks like he's going to keep going to Zora, pay some money to Zora, see what's on the ledge. Maybe there's a sword there. We're not sure. We haven't seen this check yet.
Maybe there's 2 swords.
There's another heart. Don't get it. That's 16. Don't get it. If you missed it earlier, Lumaga and I took guesses on how many hearts there would be in this. What the runners would have at the end of the game. I said 15, and Lumaga said 17. So, yeah, not looking good for me.
He's not going to get it. But he gets the 20. Get some money back here. All right, so he's got that mushroom. Could lead him to the potion shop just to see if there's a sword there. Has not done the South Dark World, so when he does, if he does, that'll get him the Master Sword. But if he finds a Master Sword before then, he's probably going straight to Ice Palace and be in full-on go mode.
And the mushroom pays off for the cape. That'll be really handy as our first safety of the game. Still no bottles and no Cane of Berna.
Yeah, that cape will actually be pretty big, possibly in the Ganon's Tower fight. I'm sorry, in the Ganon fight. You could kind of cheese the second phase there.
There's a bottle on Hylia Island. Not sure if anybody's going to go for that one, though. But given that Vertz still doesn't have a Master Sword, he may think about it, to turn that into the sick kid and see where that goes.
All right, Karma gets through the Gets to the dark room here in Mire, the challenging one at least. The rest of them are fairly straightforward.
Unfortunately, not having the lamp, we didn't really get to see the spooky glitch, which is always fun to watch in Misery Mire. But these racers have done a pretty good job of getting through them. Oh, as Karma takes a fall. This is some of the toughest dark rooms in the game, for sure.
Yeah, it's the toughest dark room that you're actually, maybe going to come across in a normal seed. Aga Tower also tough, but that's a rarely seen one. But we did see an ice rod here in Ice Palace, so don't really need it, but always fun to see it.
It's important to note that both runners have taken a fall in Misery Mire. It's just kind of a balancing there. And Vertz showing a nice, easy, successful icebreaker glitch there. Walking through the wall with the Cane of Samaria.
We got a discussion in chat about Lamp here. The only place I can think that Lamp really is Turtle Rock. Because we came across that, fairly early. Didn't need to go into it, didn't want to go into it, rather. But I think that's the only place it could really be. Maybe Smith Chain.
Hammer pegs, I think, could be an option as well, because you'd be fluted to get the mitts.
That's true. And our tracker pointing out, since we got the flippers here, Swamp Palace could also be an option. All places we're not going to be.
Now, is that last dark room in Turtle Rock, does that have a fire, like a fire pit, a torch?
The only one in Turtle Rock is the maze, and no, that does not have a torch to light up.
So that would make sure the lamp wouldn't be on pedestal. That was my only other thought.
All right, Vertz hoping beyond hope that he does not have to do a cold stare with the fighter sword and really pull out the hammer strats, but just picks up a key out of the big chest. Don't think he's planning on going to Ice Tea Room. He might just head towards cold stare.
And he's going to have to pick up a few small magic pots just to make sure he can cast Bombos, or since I don't think he's going to have the full 8 to do Fire Rod strats. We'll have to see.
No, these last two didn't fill him up just enough. Interesting. We've got Karma here in Desert Palace. Is a pendant. Did not make his way to Vitreous through those dark rooms. So maybe looking for sword, lamp, something like that.
I know as a runner, I would be looking for a bottle. I'd really love a bottle if I were them. Which we know there's a bottle on Lake Hylia Island, but only Vertz has seen that, I believe. I don't remember if Karma saw Hylia Island when he went to Hobo. There's the lamp right there in Desert Palace.
And there is a crystal. So that makes 7 for Vertz, I believe.
Yep. Does that mean it's time for the game?
I like games. I'll play games. Speaking of games, yeah, let's play a game. We got 22 locations in Ganon's Tower, one of which has the big key to get up to the gauntlet and to allow us to beat the game. Pick a number 1 through 22, and we'll see which one of these chests or locations has the big key. I am going to guess, I don't know, 9. What about you, Jaws?
I got a 3 in there, so let's see. I give a nice early find for the runners here. Let's see.
Well, you called that bottle, and here's Vertz picking up a bottle just before he goes up to GT.
I wonder if he'll turn it in because he's still looking for a Master Sword. He's going to go to the potion shop first. He could still make a fly over to Sick Kid just to check if he's worried about the Master Sword find.
He could have also, I guess, taken the bottle to the Pyramid Fairy and gotten 2 items there plus a free bottle refill. But, this works out fine for him. There's plenty of checks in Ganon's Tower to come across a sword or 2.
Chat pointed out that maybe Karma sensed, that the lamp would probably be in an early check, like a Desert Palace like that. So finding the lamp made it much easier to get through these dark rooms with that light source.
Yeah, for all the guessing that we did for where the lamp is, we didn't guess desert, I don't believe.
And Karma's going to have no problem wiping the floor here with Vitreous with some silver arrows. And then he'll make a play right to Skullwoods to be able to finish that last crystal with a second attempt at Mothula.
Very clean fight. Very easy to do with those silver arrows. Always good to have when you get to this boss fight. Vertz, just a screen away from the entrance to Ganon's Tower. Once he enters, I'm going to stop the game, and we will start the count as he opens up chest after chest, looking for that big key. So if you have a guess, chat, get it in right now.
And Vertz is going to start off in the Hope Room. Small key and the red boomerang. An okay boomerang.
So got the key, which would have allowed him to go to the compass room on the right, but we're going to see a left side play instead. Up to 3, torch counts as a location, nothing there.
So there's still quite a few checks in the world still. And Vertz is here with just the fighter sword. We know a master sword is on Stumpy. What do we think? Oh, never mind. I was going to say what happens if he doesn't find a master sword, but there it was in the Dark Magician room.
Well, that's pretty fortunate. So we are up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be 8 here in the Firebar room.
Yes, and as chat pointed out, Vertz is officially at go mode at about 113.5. Always fun to hit go mode in Ganon's Tower.
Yes, for some variations of fun, yes. Can't quite hit this boomerang switch. Have a little bit of trouble.
It's definitely a trick that takes some getting used to, especially with quick swap involved, if you try to make that happen.
And Karma taking down Mothula with that. Picks up his 7th crystal. Headed to GT. A little bit not as powered as Vertz here. He will pick up a, or is likely to pick up a tempered sword along the way. Vertz finding that big key at 9, 10. I believe that's 11. Well, yes, it was 11. Chat confirming, and so is the VOD. John Boy 81918 won our game today. Gets on the leaderboard. Enjoy those internet points. Spend them wisely.
So I think Karma's showing that he did see the bottle earlier, and he's going over to Lake Hylia Island to grab that bottle before Ganon's Tower to make sure he has a safety.
Yeah, that's a smart move. The only thing that probably would have been even better, since he did go into desert, would be if he got that bug net. Pick up a safety. He's got the powder. He could have used that for a ferry somewhere in GT. But I think, knowing what we know, he'll have tempered and silvers. Ganon's not going to be too terribly troublesome here today.
And Vertz is approaching Lamellus 2 fight, which is a lot easier the second time than the first time usually. Usually have more equipment and a better strategy to tackle it. Of course, in this seed, it's only the first time because we didn't have to do Desert Palace.
Yep. Lines up those silver arrow shots pretty nicely.
And Vertz travels to the most satisfying rooms in the game, taking care of those 2 Wizrobe rooms with the Cane of Samaria. And we've got Karma making his way into Ganon's Tower, so we'll see which way he goes first. A lot of runners do take that Hope Room first and then make a play based on that. So we'll see if... Looks like he's going to the right, yep, and we'll see if he's going to take that key onward to the right side or if he goes to the left side instead.
Yeah, and we know today the key is a bit of a red herring, but does lure quite a few runners, and Karma's taking the bait here today. Vertz did find that blue mail in the chest, the mini Helmasaur chest. Probably just looking for a sword, make his life easier, but you won't turn down blue mail. Moldorm 2 down, across the gap. And just a vanilla item, big 20.
Karma taking the fall on the right side, but this was pushing him to the left, so at least it gets him back on the track. He doesn't know he's on the track now, but back on the track towards that big key on the left side.
Pattern's not playing very nicely for Vertz here. Looks like a 1-2-1-2 if I'm not mistaken. But now on to the big pig.
So Vertz is going to do Master Sword with silvers. He does have a cape. And I believe blue potion's still in the bottle.
Yeah, gonna have to spin for every hit here, as he does need to strike with that next tier of damage. Master Sword alone, Master Sword swings just won't do it for Ganon. He needs the next highest damage here.
As Karma picks up his big key, he's going to check the last couple chests in case there's something good there, and then head up to the climb.
So Vertz, midway through phase 2, did use the cape, and to get through this last little bit, may end up needing to use this potion. Yeah, he's going to need some magic to light that torch just at the end here.
He's going to have to be careful, though, because he used half his magic, and he's going to need magic to light those torches. But with the silver arrows, we shouldn't take too many turns there, too many rounds with the pig there at the end. Let's see what happens here as he moves to the next phase.
No, but he still is going to have to spin, and charging that takes a little bit of time. You got to position yourself just right. It's not going to be as smooth as a strike from a tempered sword, but he does have to conserve magic. He better get this torch glitch here. Does get it, and well, a few swings and strikes. A few spins and a few shots from this arrow. He will be on his way as Karma's making his way up into the gauntlet at this point. He's on his last little bit of magic here. He's got to take this. Gets him down. Ganon is exploding. Triforce is rescued. Hyrule is saved as long as Vertz crosses that 1x3 bridge.
I don't know about you guys, but my heart's pounding after watching that fight. It was intense.
Yeah, that was an intense fight here. Vertz finishing in first place with an official time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 2 seconds. Get your GGs for Vertz. Takes the first game this week between Grouchy Old Men and Dark Side of the Triforce.
And even with a little bit of a space between the runners here at the end, this seed was really tough. No safeties, green mail. Neither of them had a Master Sword until the end. Just intense for both runners. So they both have done a great job in this run.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not one I would want to play unless I was really feeling like challenging myself. So for a 123 and Karma's doing a great job here up at 124 headed to the end of the gauntlet. They're both doing a great job. All right, Karma making his way through This torch room does have that one key. Gets that second key from the mini Helmosaur. Doesn't get the blue mail that we know is in the left chest of Helmosaur room.
Yeah, but having the tempered sword makes a huge difference on how long he has to fight Ganon. So he's exposed a little less than Vertz was. And what's good as a viewer is we get a chance to watch two different versions of the Ganon fight here, as long as Karma's going to finish up here. You know, it's a different strategy altogether. No cape, only the one safety, but with tempered, compared to the cape Master Sword strategy that Vertz was able to use.
Now, I imagine Karma also went to the potion shop. He went through the trouble of getting that bottle. I didn't see him go to the potion shop, but that doesn't mean he didn't.
Yep, I believe he has a blue potion. And while we wait for Karma to be whisked away on his flute bird over to Ganon, I will point out that both runners have finished this game with 15 hearts.
Well, I guess you win. You win the heart bet.
That's what I'm here for.
Not for nothing, just watching the credits on Vertz's end. Sick Kid had a potion.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised it wasn't a piece of heart. Or maybe they're saving that for pedestal. Karma on the pig fight, trying to take down Ganon here with tempered sword swings. Oh, a sword on pedestal.
Oh, man, Karma takes a death here in phase 2. But dust yourself off, jump right back in. Alright, looks like he's making his way through phase 2 a bit more quickly. A few more swings, and he should be on to phase 3 just after this. Real nice use of the hook shot to get through that circle.
Yeah, that's the thing with Ganon fights in Rando. It's you never know what you're going to have at the end of the game. So practice all different styles and approaches so you're ready when it comes. Just like Karma's ready here with the hookshot strats.
I think he got the double off of that, and did get the torch glitch.
Nope, doesn't look like it. I think it bounced off the torch there.
Four silver arrows will do it for IB Karma. All that's left is to cross this 1x3 bridge, grab the Triforce, save Hyrule, and get your GGs in chat for IB Karma finishing with an official time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, 17 seconds. GG to both of these runners for doing this particular seed, sub 90. This was a difficult one. And we are joined by our two runners, Vertz and IB Karma. GG's, both of you.
GG, guys.
GG's.
Yeah, thank you, GG's as well. Those swords, though.
Yeah, you started with one. There was one on Stumpy, one in Ganon's Tower, and then apparently one on the pedestal. So,
nice.
kind of a gross seed here.
Yeah, that makes me. I think I made the right call in skipping Stumpy because I feel like, once I finished Hera, I was like, I'm in go mode other than a sword, so I guess I just keep going. But it unfortunately worked out with the item placement this time to not be so great.
Actually, that was one question I was going to have for both of you. Is when did you really feel like you were in go mode? Because you didn't have the lamp at first, but you had, we figured out Titan's Mitts was your go mode item well after the fact, right? But when did you really feel like, okay, I should be in go mode, I'm going to go through this?
For me, I got the mitts, finished Hera, thought about things, and was like, all I need is a Master Sword, so I'm kind of in go mode, so I'm going to kind of balance checking things and going to the next dungeon. So that's why I did East Death Mountain and got junk, and then did Mire, and then did water checks and got junk, and then did ice. And then hoped for a sword in the tower.
Karma?
I was sort of the same. As soon as I hit mitts, I was like, I already had Master Sword, so I was just like, I'm in pseudo go mode. I don't have flippers. Don't need them. Swamp's not required.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have lamp, which I was kind of dreading because I was struggled with Mire Dark Rim again. It was not nice to me today. I've gotten through it before. It's just with no safeties, green mill. It's miserable.
Yeah, I was dreading it. It was one of those I am fairly sure I can do this and be okay, but I don't want to.
Yeah, both of you had some really tough fights. We saw Master Sword, Cold Stare, and a Fighter Sword Vitreous. So I was saying I don't envy playing this seed, right? This is not one I would want to do unless I challenged myself. But both of you played really well on this. I can't understate that enough.
It was tough, but also fun at points. It was an interesting challenge for sure.
Yeah, it's been a while since I haven't been loaded on defense at the front, and I think that's very tellable with how everything went. That Moth death hurt, though. I hit him so many times.
So, Karma, when you were in Misery Mire and took a fall there, and like we said, the seed was very difficult, and you both actually took falls in Misery Mire. When you decided to go to Desert, what were your thoughts there?
I was like, I need something. I just need a safety. I mean, it could have been anything. I was looking for Blue Cane, Cape, another bottle, because I knew where the one was, but it was out of the way. And then I just picked up Lamp. I was like, okay, well, it's the best thing I could have found.
So early in the seed, you guys both unlocked Dark World, I think, in Eastern Palace. Opened kind of the world there. What were you guys' thoughts and processing on where would you go first? You both went south down to Hype Cave. What were you guys thinking there?
That's my usual go-to, honestly. I'll go to Hype and check the map. It was especially important for me to do that this time because I had hammer and bow. So my thinking was if pod is crystal, then Hype is the best call. And if pod is not a crystal, that's okay. Hype still has checks that I can do before going to the village with the fire rod that I have.
And mine was the same thought. I was like, I saw the map after Hype, and I was like, okay, go into Pyramid Pod.
Well, GG's on the seed. Let's look a little bit ahead, right? Obviously, I know you guys aren't playing the second game between these two teams. I know that because I'm playing in the second game against Dark Side of the Triforce. Looking forward to it. But what are you really looking forward to later in the season? Right? Is there any particular mode or matchup you're looking towards?
For me, I'm not playing. Probably one of our other hardest weeks. I'm actually sitting now is going to be AD keys. The rest of the weeks are still going to be challenging, but I think I'm playing in every other week other than AD keys. I think the one I'm looking forward to most though is the pilot the next week pilot, and then mystery.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to mystery as well, in part because we're playing Lumaga. We're playing a team where we know one of the players. And actually, we know a couple of the players, but one in particular is from our Go Mode podcast, Mentor Tournament year. So I'm excited for that. Also, really interested in co-op info share Enemizer. That is something I haven't done very much, so I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, that's a new mode this year. Replace the cross keys mode. So more co-op, more interesting things to come in the rest of the league. I don't have any more questions for either of you guys. Jaws, do you have anything else?
I just want to add that next week is an off week for the league because of SG Live. So we will be taking a week off and then getting to week 4 the following week. So if you're following us along, catch SG Live for that and then come back to us the week after.
All right. Well, GG's to our runners. Be sure to give them a follow. They did a tremendous job on a very difficult seed. Both the top 2 teams in this division right here in the Open League, the Turtle Rock division, and look forward to them the rest of the league, the rest of the season. Shout outs to our tracker, Professor Pixie, doing a great job making sure that both you and we knew what was going on here. And shout outs to Math Girl, our restreamer, who has restreamed quite a few of these league matches, tireless and an asset to what we do here. Also, Jaws, I had a great time with you on commentary. Thanks so much for joining me here today.
Thanks, Umaga. That was really fun, and this is my first comm experience, so I'm glad to take that plunge here with you. Those are good times. So same thing with Lumaga. Definitely give him a follow as well too. Lumaga, when is your race? You said you're racing this week?
Sure. So W. Garrison and I will be racing on Saturday at 6:10 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. Well, good luck to that. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching today. This was a really awesome seed to watch.
Yep. And be sure to check out the schedule. Here we have it on the screen. Plenty of matches throughout the week. We're only halfway through week 3. So you have the Open League on the left and the Invitational League on the right. Most of those will be carried by Speed Gaming, either Speed Gaming 1 through Speed Gaming 6. So be sure to check the schedule for full details. I'm going to sign us out here. For Jaws, our runners, our crew behind the scenes, I am Lumaga. Have a good night, everybody.